Politics. It's important.
Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? In the garden of your mind. You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. In the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about.
So recently my friend was somewhat frustrated with the political process that was unfolding in the US. And he's just like frustrated. He's just like, oh, there's like so many people and they don't know what the issues are, and it's driving me crazy because it seems like everything is happening so slowly and there's idiots in politics and we need to do something. We need to do something about this problem. And so I asked, well, what do you think we should do? And he says, oh, I know, meritocratic suffrage. Meritocratic suffrage. Aha, meritocratic suffrage. So breaking it down, suffrage just means the right to vote, and meritocratic is, you know, the right to vote based on something, based on some merit or something that you have. In my friend's case, I think he was frustrated with the process of how people just weren't educating themselves, they were voting on emotions, they were just completely out to lunch. And so he was like, we need to stop this, and how we're going to stop this is through meritocratic suffrage. Now, to be fair to my friend, I asked, it's like, well, okay, what does that mean to you, meritocratic suffrage? How does that work? Or how would that work? So basically his idea is restricting people's voting rights based on some form of like aptitude test that they would have to take. So like minimum standards, you have to minimally answer certain questions, and if you can, then hooray, you can vote. Here's why I disagree. Intelligence. So when it comes to intelligence, I think there are many kinds of intelligence. And this voter aptitude test would not necessarily cover all of them, because it might measure something like IQ, but there are other kinds of intelligence. There's emotional intelligence, there is political intelligence, there's sexual intelligence, there's street smarts, there's intuition. There are all these different kinds of intelligence. There's all these different things that different people bring to the table, and they might not pass a test like my friend is saying, like some sort of minimum voter aptitude test, but it doesn't mean that we should exclude them from the process. So defining who has merit in society can kind of be problematic, because we're saying these people, because they passed like a minimum sort of voter aptitude test, they're worth more to society because they're better informed and they can vote based on whatever criteria we decide. These people have merit. These people are worth something. And these people who didn't pass the test don't have as much merit to society, or aren't as valuable to society. And I think once we start to make that judgment, like some people have merit and some people don't, and that gets us into a pretty slippery slope. I think everybody has value to society, and the way that I define value might be different than the way you define value, but I think we're sort of both right. Class divisions. Once you start doing this sort of thing, and there's a minimum voter aptitude test that some people who take it and they pass, they're the ones that can vote and they can participate in political life. And then there's other people that maybe don't make the cut and then they are blocked from the process. This creates a new class division where you have unenfranchised people that now can't participate, maybe because they didn't make the cut, and maybe they're illiterate, maybe they have other problems, maybe who knows what the reason is. But now they're blocked from politics. And historically, what we see when this happens, when people are not able to be represented in the political arena, that's what happens, that's what causes revolutions. And do we really want a revolution of the stupid? No. One person that would support this sort of thing in class divisions is Plato, because Plato thought that in order for society to function smoothly, which is the ultimate goal, everybody needs to know their place. That is, they need to know where they stand in society, and they need to stay there. And that's how things run smoothly. So he's totally cool with class divisions, but the thing is, that sort of thinking also supports things such as slavery, because slaves back in the day in Plato's time also had their role in society. So he was saying they should stay there. They shouldn't try to not be slaves anymore, because we need that for the smooth functioning of society. So Plato would like class divisions, but it has some maybe unintended results. By removing stupid people from the political process, this destroys the creative tension that Machiavelli wrote about in The Prince, where he's saying that in politics we need this sort of tension between people who are debating. Like, we need somebody to debate it against, you know? If everybody starts to think the same way, and we're all at the same level and we're way up here, anything that doesn't fit into what we find important, you know, will just sort of be forgotten. And then the people who are excluded from the process won't have a voice. It's dangerous. Groupthink is dangerous. Efficiency versus sufficiency. So in having this conversation with my friend, he said, well, what about efficiency? The way we run things is just not efficient. And by letting, you know, really uninformed people vote in the political process, they just slow things down. It makes it worse. It's annoying. It's frustrating. And my answer to that is, well, okay, but we have to consider if we want efficiency or if we want sufficiency. Efficiency would be like asking, okay, how fast is our government getting things done? You know, how fast is it moving? Are we progressing fast enough in terms of, you know, women's equality, in terms of marriage equality for gays and lesbians? Or are we moving fast enough in terms of fiscal reform? Are we moving fast enough in all these areas? How fast are we going? Can we be more efficient? Can we get more stuff done faster? That is sort of what happened in fascist Italy and Nazi Germany. Those two states in those two time periods were super efficient. Stuff was getting done. Decisions were made really quickly, and it was happening fast. Although I would say that the quality of life for people living in those times was pretty unpleasant. I, for one, would not want to live in those areas in that period of time, even if it was super efficient. Sufficiency, on the other hand, is asking the question, okay, is our government at least getting the job done? Are they at least funding schools so that schools are open? Are they at least maintaining roads so that we can use the roads? Are they at least providing military protection? Are they at least doing the minimum number of things that we need in society in order to go about our daily lives in relative peace? I would say that we need to focus more on sufficiency in politics versus efficiency. Axioms. So axioms are like little biases that we all have which inform our decisions. And it's something that you hold on to really tightly, and it's really hard to change your axiom if you have one. For example, you might know somebody that believes that women are bad drivers. And this person just always believes that women are bad drivers. And even if this person sees 10 women parallel park perfectly, it's good alliteration, that person will still believe that women are bad drivers, even though the proof that you provide to them to show the opposite, it doesn't matter. Axioms are sticky, so that means if there's one instance where they see a woman who's not driving that well, that's what they'll latch onto, and they'll be like, oh, see, that proves what I'm saying, so I'm right, so therefore, haha. We have to recognize that we all have these axioms. And going back to the argument of should stupid people or uninformed people, I guess, be allowed to vote, and my friend saying that no, they shouldn't, or at least we should have some sort of restrictions, I have a really hard time agreeing with that argument. And when I thought about it, I think it actually goes back to my axiom, my own personal axioms, because I believe that diversity is important, so diversity of thought, diversity of opinion, I value that. And also that fairness or equality is important as well. Those are two axioms that I have, and I believe that strongly. So here's a pro tip. When you're debating somebody, or if you're making a point, or if you're proving some sort of argument, be aware. Be aware of the axioms that you have, those positions, those little biases that you have, which are driving your argument, and also be aware of the axioms that are maybe driving other people. Because the best way, the way that you can win a debate or an argument or anything is when you speak to somebody else's axioms. So in this example, you know, a great way to convince me that meritocratic suffrage is a good thing is by explaining how meritocratic suffrage can support and respect diversity and equality. And if you do that, if you speak to my axioms, I will probably agree with you. One thing I should say as well is I can understand where my friend was coming from. My friend and I think we're both idealists. You know, we're dreamers. We can picture a society where things are better. You know, we have this sort of utopia in our mind. But the problem is getting there. For example, the Communist Manifesto was beautiful. It was talking about how to create like a great society, how to get rid of class divisions and get rid of exploitation and have everybody work together and build a sense of family, all these different things. The steps to get to that utopia, it's not easy. Well, I can appreciate my friend in, wanting to make things more efficient, wanting to, streamline the political process, wanting to improve the system. I can appreciate that. I don't agree with the means to get there. We didn't come to a conclusion necessarily. All we could do was agree to disagree. But I want to know what you think. Do you think that having some sort of voter aptitude test is a good thing that we should implement? Or do you think that, no, that's not really a good idea, and, for the reasons I outlined, maybe we have to look at something else? Let me know.
You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow.